Guys, stop racism! I think the education system is incredibly flawed. The point of school is to set us up for life and success, but it ultimately only teaches us to be good employees, with rules like sit still, do what you're told, and teachers are invincible beings that you should never question. So it's no wonder why most people grow up to be meek and docile. Everybody learns about things like Pythagoras theorem, but fundamentals of life like how money works is never really spoken about. Even in subjects like maths, where you think the idea of money would be relevant, it still never really comes up. To this day, I don't know what a mortgage is, but I can tell you that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, because that is extremely useful. After successfully wasting your youth, a lot of schools will definitely try to plug you into university or college, especially in the UK. And I think this is the end game. Because there are two types of people that go to university. The first type are the people that go because they actually need a degree to do what they want to do. And the other type are the people that go because they've been brainwashed into thinking that it's a necessary step. But personally, I think uni is just a distraction, and an excuse to not have to think about what to do next. Like, most people leave university with thousands in debt just to get a job that they were already qualified for in the first place. Like, if you're watching this video and you actually went to uni, let us know. Was it actually useful, or did you just waste 3 years? They just want us to owe them and then work to pay them and then work for them. Who are these people that I'm talking about? I don't know. Sometimes I like to imagine that there's like an evil mastermind that like controls everything. This is how you know I watch too much Andrew Tate, man.
The Matrix.
Rockefeller designed the idea of school in order to have more employees in the workforce, because up until this point, most of America's population were focused on agriculture, so farmland and growing their own food. Most children were homeschooled in churches or at home, which meant that the Industrial Revolution didn't have enough workers to power the growing oil empire, simply because most people back then had no idea how to work with heavy machinery. So the idea of school was essentially for the purpose of creating factory workers. Conspiracy? No. Because the inventor of school himself said, "I don't want a nation of thinkers, I want a nation of workers." Like, he's Back then, the school curriculum was extremely minimal in order to teach them just enough to keep them in lock and key. You were taught just enough to prepare you for a factory work. You can't teach them too much because a lot of these people can grow up to be competitors. They can rally together and rebel, because knowledge is power. There was a reason why slaves weren't allowed to be taught how to read or write. The idea of free education seems so appealing to the public, and a lot of parents were just quick to send their children to school. In their eyes, this is an amazing opportunity, but ultimately, they were just selling the children's freedom.
Now, profoundly mistaken. Universities designed the system in their image. If you think of it, the whole system of public education around the world is a protracted process of university entrance. And the consequence is that many highly talented, brilliant, creative people think they're not, because the thing they were good at school wasn't valued or was actually stigmatized. And I think we can't afford to go on that way.
I had a friend in school called Igor. He was amazing at art. He could draw anything with crazy detail. So at the end of one of our school years, we had an art exam. We were all told to draw an animal of our choosing. I chose to draw a frog because I thought it'd be easy, and Igor drew an eagle. After we were done, the entire class surrounds Igor to look at his drawing, man. It was so good that 5 years later, I still remember exactly what that drawing looks like. We're not going to talk about mine. But then our art teacher at the time reads out our grades, and you should have seen everyone's face when our teacher fails Igor. Like, the drawing was amazing, but she fails him because he didn't use these fancy art terminology like cross-hatching and fading and shadows. Like, she fails him regardless. Even though the drawing was amazing, he still got an F. That's crazy. And the funny thing is, she gave me a B grade, even though my drawing was fucking terrible. She gave me a B because I used the cross-hatching and the fading and all that, even though the drawing was garbage. Imagine what that does to a 14-year-old child. This is one of the biggest flaws of the education system, as my friend Igor has now been conditioned into thinking that there is only one right answer. The curriculum should never be ignored, or else you're a failure, regardless of if your outcome was still great.
Fuck you, kid.
This teaches you to be a sheep, and it's alarming because this conditioning happens all through the formative years of your life. In fact, a British philosopher called Bertrand Russell once described the education model like this: education should aim at destroying free will, so that after pupils have left school, they shall be incapable throughout the rest of their lives of thinking or acting otherwise than as their schoolmasters would have wished. And I can really relate to this quote, because if Miss Rimmer told me to get on my knees and call her I know I've really had my tinfoil out on this entire video, but I'll be grounded for a minute because school wasn't all bad. There are a lot of benefits to being in the school environment, and I'll name some. Let's go. Number 1. The hot teacher.
Holy shit, fuck balls.
nigga shit out
Whoa,
there,
girl, fuck.
Nigga, we be
Wow.
By far the biggest positive to being in a school environment is the social aspect. For the most part, it doesn't matter what your interests are, you will always find someone like you. You could be into manga, anime, or collecting Pokemon cards. You will always find someone that's also interested in those things. Chances are, if you are interested in any of those three things, you're gonna get beat up, but at least you won't get beat up alone. Now, I don't want to be racist, but back in my school, there was like a small group of white girls that would start crying for no reason. They would just start tearing up for no reason, and these girls would just leave the class and nobody would question it. They just got a free pass to just dip, all in the name of depression. If I did that, bro, I was getting suplexed back into the class. Bro, tell me you had these girls in your school too. Like, there's no way it was just mine. Bullying has always been a big problem in schools, and I think it's something that's never really gonna stop. A lot of people like to scream, bring back bullying, because they see teenagers online being social rejects. But what a lot of people don't realize is that a lot of the abnormal behavior we see from teenagers online is a direct result of bullying. A lot of these people don't like their real lives, so the online world is like an escape for them. Think about it this way: if Emily had friends, would she feel the need to change her pronouns to Jim? Probably not. A lot of parents will try to stop bullying by moving their kids to a different school, which for the most part is a good solution, but sometimes it doesn't work, because when you move schools, a lot of people try to figure out why you moved, and if the wrong people figure out that you moved because you were getting bullied, then the bullying is likely to continue in your new school. It's a sad reality, but one I have seen multiple times. Boys, the hood doesn't fuck with Zoe Saldana anymore. She cheated on me with that tall goofy guy from Avengers. I mean, you know, it's okay though. She's broke, I'm up. No, she's incredibly rich. The SS, however, we have a new queen. Bro, I was on TikTok.
Got a white boy on my roster. He be feeding me pasta and lobster. He just hit me up on Tuesday.
Damn! If you're gonna subscribe, please set notifications to all, so you get all the notifications to my videos. Please, it actually does really help. Please. Naughty gang. There are people on the extreme side of things that genuinely believe that the education system is run by these evil overlords. And I don't think that's true. These types of people think life is a movie.
Wait a minute.
I don't know. Sometimes I like to imagine that there's like an evil mastermind that like controls everything. Hello guys, welcome back to things I wrote to myself when I was 15. I went on my old phone and I found like a bunch of notes I used to write to myself when I was young. And I'm gonna read them out to you because I was an extremely cringy kid, so this is gonna be entertaining. Hopefully. I titled this one, Homophobic. Hold on to your pride flags, boys and girls. 15-year-old ZSS is about to end homophobia. I know these glasses don't fit me, they're my mom's. Shut up. Let's go. We as a society are raised in a certain fashion and order. We go to school, finish school, get higher education, then a job, then comes marriage, in brackets, to the opposite sex. This has been the societal structure for decades and hasn't changed. But when something or someone doesn't follow this structure, it could be threatening and seen as abnormal. Bro, I am spitting things that nobody has ever thought of at 15. I was low-key a genius, dog. No one has ever thought about this. Hence why we have homophobia in our society, because it isn't normal. But what most people fail to see is that we as humans have free will to do whatever we choose, as long as it doesn't negatively impact someone else. Again, these are just crazy new ideologies that I'm spitting. I was so ahead of my time. So using this theory... So using this theory, complaining and hating homosexuals is idiotic and cannot be justified because it doesn't affect you in any way. It is not your penis or vagina, so I fail to see the problem. Okay, I think what was going on is just, like, back in school, I had, like, this, like, friendship group. And, like, they were kind of like homophobic in a way, and like it used to really piss me off, but I never really said anything, you know, because I was kind of a little pussy, so I never really said anything. But then I'd go home and like, oh my god, look at the veins on my arm. I hope you can see this. I'm sorry, I got distracted. There are loads of excuses that people try to use to justify their hate towards homosexuality. For example, God or Allah says it's wrong. But at the same time, they also said, love thy neighbor. I didn't really know the Islamic translation or if it has one, so I don't exactly understand your point. In conclusion, it's your genitals, do whatever you want. There isn't much more I can expand on this topic. Boom. There you go. I just ended homophobia right there, honestly. To my LGBTQ mandem, you're free to do whatever you want. ZSS has changed the world. Anyway, that is the end of the video, boys. I hope you enjoyed. Bye. Also subscribe, please. Like the video, comment. I hate you saying that because I'm just like every other normal YouTuber out there, but it actually does help me out. Like and subscribe.
A lot of people say, you know, college is a scam, it's bullshit, whatever. You were able to use the education system to your advantage and get into the tech field, etc. Can you talk a little bit about if someone is going to decide to go to college and pursue higher education, how do they go about it intelligently so they don't get a useless degree?
College is not a scam, but what most people choose to study in college is a scam. If it ends in the word studies, it's a fake degree. African American studies, Chicano studies, gender studies. Damn, you're studying yourself? That's dumb. No one pays for that. Sociology, English. What do you do with that degree? Oh, you write a book? You don't need that for that. That's dumb. We all know what the good degrees are. Accounting, science.
STEM.
Yeah, basically. And there's some things we do need to be cautious of. Like, for example, law is a dying field.
I agree. A lot of people don't talk about that unless you're going to top law school.
That's right.
It's an L.
It's been contracting. Surgery is now being done through robotics, and they're doing it better than great surgeons. So when young folks tell me, oh, I want to go to college, mostly I recommend vocations and I recommend a trade. You can see what they pay straight away because most of us are not scholars. Most of us are not deserving of a liberal arts degree. Like a philosophy department should be the smallest department at any institution because it requires extraordinary intellect, which most of us don't have. And even if you do, that doesn't pay any damn ways. OnlyFans girls are going to make more money than you do with that fancy degree. If you don't know what you want to do, a business degree is not going to do much for you. And that includes the MBA. Always think of it like this. People always say, oh, it's all about who you know. No. It's about who knows you. I might know him and remember his name. Does he remember my name? That's the key.